Hello guys, and welcome back once again to K-Tapes. This week I have for you two huge boxes. I mean, even more than two huge boxes. I have maybe almost the equivalent of 3 boxes of tapes. Well, what happened is for the last month I've been buying new tapes, but like late releases. Like I'll just show you here. I got like this big box here. I have a box right there, and in the corner behind my bag there's like more tapes like right there that I want to show you. So yeah, you can see my terrible setup here. Anyway, yeah, so all these tapes came up recently because I went back to Seoul. I bought here and there. I bought like quite a lot online. So yes, and I had to clean all these tapes. So whenever I would buy some tapes, let's say 20 of them, then some had mold and had like really dirty clamshells and stuff. So I had to clean all this stuff. And then by the time I was done, then I found another little bundle of tapes that I also purchased, and then I would clean those up. Anyway, rinse and repeat. I did that almost like 3 or 4 times. Ended up with nearly 50 tapes. And also got lazy in the process, so I didn't post anything in the meantime. But now it's time for me to show you all these tapes. I will just stick to pretty much only the late releases, and that is because I may do another video with some really cool stuff, like the old tapes that I found. Like there's some really cool stuff in there. So yeah, I'm just gonna stick to the late releases for today. Otherwise this video will be way too long, and the way I see it is already gonna be like quite long. I'm guessing maybe 40 minutes. I hope it's gonna be shorter than that, but let's get going, all right, shall we? Because otherwise it's gonna take too long. So the first one I have here is I think this was called what, Pokemon 2000 or Pokemon 2001. Anyway, the Pokemon movie that came out early 2000. This is the Korean release. There's one thing though, because I bought this online and I didn't know. There are, doesn't show here yet, like part 1, part 2. There are 2 parts to this movie. And I only have one of the 2 parts. I think it's part 1. As you can see with the tape, it's like a shorter, it's a smaller, it's a bigger spool, therefore it's like a smaller tape. I think this is like 30-40 minutes long max. So yeah, I'm missing one piece to have the whole movie, but anyway, so I picked it up. Not that I picked it up anyway, because I thought it was the full film to start with, but I do have this one part here until I do find the other one. Okay, next, okay, I'm gonna skip this one because it's an older one. Next, I found another copy of Die Hard 4, which is Live Free, Die Hard, I think. I forgot the whole title. It was a bit like I didn't really like this film. It's kind of a bit forgettable for me. But anyways, the big return to the Die Hard series after like so many years, after part 3, which is worth, grabbing anyway, because it's a late release. And by that I mean this is a 2007 release, so yeah, it's there. It's a bit sun-faded on this one. Not too bad. See, the blue is blue, although the red isn't like perfectly red here. So it does have like a bit of sun fade, but nonetheless, a pretty decent copy. Okay, let me dive into my box here. I have this one back on the shelf. It's Narnia, the Prince Caspian, so the Chronicles of Narnia, which is the second movie. So only the first 2 movies came out on tape in South Korea. The third one I think was 2011 or maybe late 2010. I'm not too familiar with these films, to be honest, so I can't recall. But anyway, the third film didn't make it on tape. It was on DVD, of course, but not on tape. So this is the last one that came out on VHS in South Korea, and this one is a late 2008 release. We're talking about November 2008. That's really cool, and it's such a, most of the copies I found, like, and this is really nice, and they all have, most of them, they have like unfaded sun spine. My God, I'm speaking too fast here. So most of them have non-sun-faded spine, so they're like really nice spines. All right, so there you go. So those are the 2 tapes, beautiful copies. Okay, next one, I did get another copy of Knowing, because this is also a quite late release. This is 2009, and it's even like August or July 2009, so that's really it's really near the end, I should say, and before it gets like harder to get. And this was, back, by the way, a very good movie. I really enjoyed that one. It's really dark, by the director of The Crow, Alex Proyas, which I think is Australian. I'm not too sure. Anyway, it was a really good film. Again, unfaded spine, beautiful copy. So Knowing with John Travolta, Nicolas Cage. Oh my God, I'm thinking about that movie, Face Off, right here. Okay, the next one we have D War, or Dragon War. This was a Korean film that came out 2007, although the release of this videotape is 2008. It's January 2008. It was made by Shin Hyun-rae, which is used to be like a very, well, still is a very famous cult comedy actor. It's mostly like slapstick stuff that he does, but he also did direct some films, and those films were like usually special effects stuff, and it was mostly for kids. This one isn't. Although it's light, it's not as like hardcore as you can see it on the cover right here. But his movies are usually not very good. He may have 1 or 2 which are like memorable, but this one wasn't. Although I pick it up because it is in English, because it does have one with a Korean dub, and this is the original English language, because it was shot in LA with American actors, also with Korean actors, but the main actors are American. So there you go. Okay, next, I already had this one before, picked it up again. It's Night at the Museum. It wasn't too expensive, so I thought, well, maybe I should grab it. It does have a tiny bit of sun fade. I was going to say sun spine again. Sun fade on the spine, but it's nothing too dramatic. And yeah, since it wasn't too expensive, I'm not going to sell this one too expensive either. I'm going to give it for a decent price. So if anyone's looking for A Night at the Museum, one of the last movies with Robin Williams, I think he passed away just a few years after this. So yeah, this one's gonna go for sale. That's 2007. Okay, next, this one is such a gorgeous copy. I mean, it's beautiful, as you can see, and this is The Invasion. I saw this in the movie theater. It was quite interesting. It's another like kind of remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And I think that's the last remake they made with, of course, the actor that plays James Bond, Daniel Craig. So yeah, it was a decent film, and it's such a gorgeous copy. Unfaded spine once again, and a clean tape inside, just like the other tapes, of course, because I cleaned them all. Okay, next we have this one back in stock once again, King Kong. A beautiful one, gorgeous copy. This one was quite dirty. I cleaned it all up, so now it looks fine. But it was moldy, I have to say. But it's fine now, and I played it, and it plays fine. So yeah, King Kong. This is the version by Peter Jackson. And it came out, I think, late 2005, but this videotape is 2006. I can't tell which month. I think it says late April 2006, and it didn't come out on videotape in North America. So you have it here, King Kong. Look at this, such a cool art cover. I mean, it's a beautiful release. A must own. Okay. All right, and we're almost done with the first box. By the way, still 3 more tapes. This one also, I think I showed it to you before, although I picked up another copy because it was in excellent condition, so I couldn't pass it. It's the film The Orphanage. This is another one I saw in the movie theater. It's a really scary horror film. Although, by the way, if you watched recently the abysmal Lord of the Rings of Power, some of the episodes were directed by the director of this film, which is such a shame because this film is great. Lord of the Rings of Power is total BS. But yeah, same director actually, strangely enough. But this is really, really cool film, really good, really well made, quite scary. If I remember, I think it's a Spanish film also. I think it's in Spanish. I'm not like 100% sure, I don't remember. I saw it in the movie theater, but maybe it was. I think it was maybe half and half. So yeah, Orphanage. Oh, and if you want to know, this is 2008. Okay, the two last films I have here. This was a special request, although the person said he has it already. Maybe I sold it to him before. I don't remember though, or maybe he bought it from someone else. But this is The Fountain by the director of Mother, and what's the last film he made with the actor in The Mummy? I forgot. It was, I think, at the Toronto Film Festival. But this is the movie by Darren Aronofsky, who also made Requiem for a Dream and Pie, and I can't remember what else. Black Swan, I think. Anyway, like a bit of a notorious director in Hollywood. But this was The Fountain, which came out in 2000. I mean, the tape is 2007, mid 2007, and again, it's a gorgeous copy. So this will be up for grabs also. So if you want it, let me know. Okay, next we have X-Men Last Stand. That was a bit crappy, but yay. I mean, if you're into the Marvel Comics universe, Marvel movies, superhero movies, I guess you must have it, maybe. Also because this one never came out in North America on VHS, because it is 2000s, oh my god, I can't read, it's too small. Late 2006, I think it's September 2006, so this never got a release in North America, but in South Korea it did have a VHS release, as you can see. And this is my second copy. I picked this one up because the spine was really beautiful. My other copy is also really nice. I think this one is a tad, like a tiny bit better spine, like the red is more red, and that's pretty much it. But yeah. And those Marvel movies, usually they are quite popular these days. I mean, the TV series are, the movies are, the comic books are. It's Disney, and I mean, those films are a bit sought after, I should say. So whenever I see a copy, if it's in top shape, I pick it up. So there you go. Okay, we're done with one box, guys. I'm sprinting through this stuff now. Okay, speaking of Disney, Marvel Universe comic books and so on, we have Iron Man. So Iron Man, of course, there's Iron Man 1 and there's Iron Man 2 that came out in South Korea. Although Iron Man 2, I saw it before. I always left it aside. I thought no one wants that shit. Turns out nowadays people are a bit after these Marvel Comics movies, especially the MCU, because this one is part of the MCU. And as I told you previously, there are 3 movies from the MCU that came out in South Korea, which are Iron Man 2, Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, and The Incredible Hulk, the 2008 film. So this is Iron Man. Iron Man is 2008. I'm terrible with these films. Yep, you have it here, 2008, October. So I've yet to find Iron Man 2. I hope I can find it someday. It's probably going to go for quite some good money because many people ask me for it. But here you go. Here you have Iron Man 1, and it's in top shape. Beautiful spine. I mean, if you're a collector, you surely want this one in your collection. And it's a perfect tape, perfect spine, and well, I wouldn't say perfect movie, but I mean, yeah, if you want it, it's up for grabs. Okay, next, this another one I showed you before. So the Tim Burton film, Sweeney Todd, the barber of something something street. I forget the title all the time. But yeah, I had a copy before, sold it. This is my second one, and also I picked it up because, as you know, it is a late release. We're talking about 2008 right here, 2008, April 2008. Okay, next, here's a Korean film. I'm sorry I forgot the title. The reason I picked this one up, of course, I know most of you guys don't care about the Korean films, except maybe 2 or 3 of them, which are maybe super well known, but the other stuff you're like, nah, I don't care. Although I picked them up anyway, because I'm first and foremost a collector. I'm also reselling the tapes, as you know. There's no, I'll be honest with you, there's no demand for those right now. Although, while for me they're still quite affordable, I'm picking them up because they may vanish at one point and be really hard to find. And anyway, if it's like a drama or a comedy, I usually leave it on the side. I may start grabbing them though, but if it's something like this one, like action, horror, a thriller or something like that, then I'll pick it up because those are usually the more, the movies that people would go for at first. So anyway, this one is a historical drama / action blockbuster from South Korea. Again, sorry, I forgot the title. It came out in 2009. But yeah, the reason I picked it up, let me focus right here. This was released on VHS in February 2010. So we're talking about pretty much almost the last year that videotapes were in production in South Korea. So of course, this for me was a grab. Also in top shape, by the way. Okay, let me dive more into this box before. Okay, oh my God, there's so many in there, you have no idea. Okay, one more that is coming back on my shelf is Doomsday. That was a cool film, by the way. It almost like it's a cannibal film. It's a Mad Max movie. It's a post-apocalyptic film. It has like 3 or 4 like elements mixed up. I quite enjoyed it. It was by the same director who did Dog Soldiers, which I also really enjoyed. So I think this was one of his last efforts. I think everything else he made after that was kind of so-so, maybe except one film. So anyway, Doomsday is one of the good ones. And yeah, I have another copy in stock, I think, so I picked up just another one in case someone wants it. It was released by Planis, and it is a 2008 release. Okay, now here is Street Kings. I've seen this one a couple times, maybe 2 more times, but it was not in good shape, and finally I got one that is in good shape. So by that I mean like unfaded spine, the tape is fine. So that was a movie with Keanu Reeves, and of course Evans, forgot his name, Scott Evans. Anyway, I'm so not into the Marvel Universe stuff anymore. But anyway, Captain America and also the Human Torch and Fantastic Four. So this film was, let me check, 2008, and we're talking about August 2008 release on VHS. So yeah, it's out there, it's up there, I mean, near the end. So if you want it, it's up for grabs. Okay, let's move on. This one I kind of hesitated because, to be honest with you guys, the Saw series, although it's horror, it's all the checkbox for me, like selling cult films. Usually people would like to buy these films, but Saw is something that no one cares whenever I have these tapes for sale. I don't know why. The only one I ever sold was part 5, and that's why I got it back in stock, and it was like super cheap. So I was like, okay, let's grab it. But I'm still looking for part 6 because part 6 was released in South Korea and it was a 2010 release and it was like a really late one, so I'm really looking forward to grab it someday if I can find it. Once I could have gotten one, but my friend got to the shop before me and he grabbed it. The other time I got one and I traded it to the same person for another tape, which I mean was really worth it. But anyway, I would really like to get part 6 back in stock because 1 to 4, 1 to 3, actually 1 to 5 are quite easy to find. I mean, they're getting a bit harder to find now, but they used to be quite easy. So anyway, part 5 is back in stock. So I think at the moment I have 3, 4, 5 for sale. So if it interests you, let me know. Tape is in top shape. Okay. All right, next I have, speaking of the Mummy, with the actor I told you about in the movie by Darren Aronofsky. I forgot the actor's name. Anyway, really nice dude. So we have the Mummy 3 with Jet Li as well. Another great copy, no sun fade whatsoever, excellent. So there you go. And this was, sorry, I need to check as it's super small. I think this was a 2008, late 2008 release, like November 2008 release. So the Mummy, there you go. Let me just zoom in here on some of these pictures, which are super cool. See what I mean here? It's kind of really tiny. It's hard to focus even. Yeah, anyway, never mind. So the Mummy, that was it. Okay, next, back in stock. Speaking of superheroes, we have Superman Returns. That's on 2 tapes. As you can see, you have like part 1, part 2 here. This means like part 1 and part 2. And it's a gorgeous copy. Although what sucks usually with those 2-parters is they have the exact same artwork on both tapes. I think the only one that is a that doesn't do that is The Dark Knight, Batman The Dark Knight. It has like 2 different sleeves, and also the stickers on the tapes are different from the 2 tapes. I think I showed you that before. Anyway, which is really cool, but I don't have The Dark Knight in stock right now, unfortunately, but I'm still looking for it. If I find it, of course, I'll get it. So yeah, Superman Returns, that was 2006. I remember I saw it in theater in South Korea when it came out. But the videotape is October 2006, and this is in, like, showed you quickly. It's in great shape. Yeah, this one was dirty, by the way. Not gonna lie, but I managed to clean it up. I double checked the tape, plays fine. So this one was actually saved. Okay, let's move on. Okay, we have some Korean films, which most of you won't care about, but hey, the good thing is maybe most of you never saw them, so it's a good time to see some Korean films if you've never seen any of them. So here we have The Host, or Host. It's Gaemul in Korean, which means monster. And that was a film by Bong Joon-ho. If you don't know the name, I'm sure you do. You're just like, you don't remember. It's the guy who made Parasite, who actually won Best Movie at the Academy Awards, Best Film, and actually also Best Director. And I think it's the first foreign director to actually win those 2 awards. I mean, for the same film. And he also won the Palme d'Or, the prestigious Gold Palm in Cannes for his film Parasite. So that was a previous film he made back in 2006. I saw that in theater in South Korea in Korean. At the time I didn't know anything, I couldn't understand anything, although it was quite fun to watch because it's an action film. It was fun, it was great. I think it does have like a little tear here. It's not like in super top shape, as you can see, but still pretty collectible. I mean, there's no sun fade or anything. There's this nice foil, as you can see, spine, like the finish on the lettering. So that's fun. Anyway, so here you have it, Host. That was a huge film in South Korea, by the way, when it came out. Okay, next here we have another one. I think this one is The Black House, another horror film, South Korean horror film, and this one came out 2007. We're talking about September 2007. It's not like late for any stretch of the imagination, but it's still like post 2006. Anything post 2006 is, it's getting up there, as you know, because those films never came out in North America on VHS. I mean, this one probably never came out of South Korea. It's strictly for the Korean market. But as you can see, even the clamshell is super clean. So, I mean, that was a pick. There you go. So we have a film called Secret. That's another South Korean film. If I remember correctly, that's a thriller, something. I've never seen it. I remember being when they played in the movie theater, but I never watched it. And this is a 2009 film, but if you look closely once again, this was released here March 2010. So that was among the last South Korean film to have a VHS release. By last, I mean maybe the 15 last tapes, I don't know, but I mean it's quite up there. So anything 2010 is, for me, is quite valuable history-wise, right? Okay, next, what do we have? Whoops. We have Cloverfield. I think I showed you this one before. It's in great shape, although there's only one thing that really breaks my heart. It was chipped here. I had to change the box because the box was like torn here, so that's why this little piece is missing. I tried to, make it look like, put it back in place nicely. But other than that, the tape is in top shape. I mean, the rest of the sleeve is in top shape. There's no sun fade whatsoever. Oh yeah, I have to fix this. I actually have to change the box again. See, sometimes this happens and it's really heartbreaking. I would clean it and then shloop, it will just rip it. Yeah, and it's not really easy to find like replacement clamshells these days, because there are no empty clamshells in the wild, so you have to buy like a super cheap tape and just cannibalize the clamshell. Anyway, it's just a pain. Anyway, but the tape is clean, so yeah, just need to change that. Otherwise, yeah, cool tape to have. And of course, this is a 2008 film. Once again, I have another Ghost Rider. So speaking of the MCU, it's not an MCU film, but it's a Marvel Comics adaptation. And this one is in also top shape, so I picked it up. I mean, if you're a Marvel Comics fan, you want all the films that have anything to do with comic books, well, this is another one. And this was 2008? It's a 2007 film. Yeah, and it's a 2007 release. Okay, let's move on. What do we have? Oh, we have New Moon back in stock. I had this once, I sold it. So I thought might as well grab another one while they're still around. And this is 2010. So we're talking about April 2010 release, very late. So I mean, if you're after the late releases, this is a must. Although, yeah, I mean, Batman, right? Okay, next, South Korean film. So this is an omnibus. I think it's really not good, apparently. I think there's like 3 or 4 stories in there, and one of the stories is actually a zombie story. So we have a zombie short film in there, and that zombie short film happens to be, unless I'm wrong, the second Korean zombie film ever. So that was before Train to Busan, and it was after a monstrous corpse, or Geshi, which is the first South Korean zombie film from 1981, 1982. So yeah, this makes it the second zombie film ever in South Korea. And that's 2006. So many years passed by before they made another zombie film. You have like a nice screenshots here to show you a bit what it's all about. So here you have about the zombie story. And I guess some of the other screenshots here about the other stories. Well, you have the zombie story right here. And as you can see, 2006 right here, 2006. So anyway, that's a cool VHS to own just for that alone. Okay, let's move on. Okay, some old films in here. I'm gonna skip this. Okay, another Korean film here. This is called, I forgot the title. I mean the standalone title, but it's part of the series called Whispering Corridors, which is like a high school horror ghost story. And this is part 4. It says here, part 4. So here, it's really, it's really stylish. You have to give that to Koreans when they make like a DVD VHS cover. It's really stylish. It's really cool. This is really beautiful. I just took it because of the artwork itself. I love this cover. It's so gorgeous. So yeah. But is it old? No, it's actually late 2005. It's August 2005. So it's not like really a late release, but I felt the impulse to pick it up because it's such a beautiful artwork cover. And I'm not selling it for really, I'm really selling it for cheap. I mean, there's also a part 5, by the way, which I haven't found yet on tape. I know it's, I've seen it a couple times. It's not like super rare, although it's getting a bit rare, but I think, I think I can find it. I think it was like 2007 or something. So here we go. Whispering Corridors, part 4. Okay, next, what do we have? Here we have another action film. Forgot what it was. The Adventures of Hongildong or something like that. So it's like a Hongildong modern version of a story, because it used to be like an old story, but they adapted it in a newer version. Is it good? I don't know. Maybe. It looks like fun. It's probably a mix of comedy, over-the-top action, things like that. And the reason I took it once again is because this is a late release. We're talking about right here. 2010 February. So late February 2010. Actually, when you see these ratings, warnings, like maybe sexuality or sexy scenes, violence, and so on. When you have those ratings here, you can be sure this is a late release, like these exact ratings like that, because that came out late. I think this is from exactly 2010. They didn't have that before. So anyway, this is a 2010 release, super cool. I'm really happy that I grabbed this one up. So that's another one of the 2010 Korean films that is checked on the list. Okay, this one I simply picked it up because the Queen passed away. So I thought, well, why not get the tape, but the tape is in really bad shape. You can tell, like, you see the water damage. It looks like someone pissed on it, but no, it's simply just water damage. And it has like really bad sun fade, so I'm not gonna, this one is gonna go for quite cheap. I don't care. The tape is in top shape, by the way. The tape is clean and the playback is good. It really is just the sleeve. Even the clamshell is fine. It really just is the sleeve. I try to, clean it up, make it look good, but it does have water damage and sun fade. So usually that combination for me it's something I would never pick up, but I thought, I should just grab it. And it's a late release, by the way. This is 2007. Okay, let's move on. We're almost done with this box. We probably have another 10. Okay, so here we have another Korean film. Totally forgot what this one was. It's like some ajumas doing some bank robberies or something. Ajuma, which means like auntie or something, like old aunt. So yeah, you have those old ladies, and this actress is actually quite famous. I think she was wasn't she like the actress that won the Academy Award for Best Actress or something? Anyway, could be. Yeah, I think it's her. forgot her name, by the way. I'm really not checking stuff about actors, it's not my thing. But yeah, this tape sadly was really moldy. By that it was, I mean, the tape was not that moldy, but the sleeve was, and it still freaking smells like mold. I mean, see what I mean? I cleaned it with ethanol, I mean with rubbing alcohol and everything to really kill anything in there. It looks fine, it's just the smell is, look, let's see. It's just the smell is still there. My God, what am I doing? I hate when it wobbles like that. All right. So yeah, it's just the smell is still there a bit in the box, but the tape is clean. I mean, the tape was not moldy at all, or barely. It's just like it had a bit of mold here on the spine and inside there, but it was like black mold. And you're thinking, man, this is we're talking here about a 2010 May 2010 film, and it had mold. So this is so bad, which is a shame again, because as you can see, there's no sun fade or anything. It's just like it was in a bad storage. But yeah, the tape is fine. The sleeve from the outside like this looks perfect. It's just when you look inside here, and it just smells still. But yeah, anyway, 2010 film, I could not pass it. Here we have another one called Haeundae. Haeundae is, if you don't know, it's a beach area in Busan. It's extremely famous during summertime. I mean, everyone goes there to have, for swimming or just walk on the beach, and it's overcrowded. And at night they have like one street with all the clubs, bars and stuff, and people go out there. But anyway, that's the title of the movie. But I think in English it was just called Tidal Wave, because it's a disaster movie about a tsunami that hits Busan and destroys everything. So you can see it on the cover. That was quite popular at the time. I mean, what's not to like about a tsunami movie? I mean, woo, it looks so cool. About the CGI, I don't know if it still holds up. I've watched it when it came out. I don't really remember much about it, but it wasn't that bad at the time. Did it age well? I don't know. Perhaps. Anyway, this movie is very late, 2009. We're talking about December 2009, so that's in the zone. I'm really glad I picked this one up because it's getting hard to find. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen a copy of this for sale. Okay, next. Another Marvel Comics film. This one I had it once and I sold it. This one is actually, I think, in better shape because it doesn't have any sun fade. And this is Punisher Warzone. It was a kind of a made like straight to video film. But what's special about it? First of all, it's 2009 release. Let me focus here. So this is a 2000. Oh my God, it's so bad. Focus is bad. I'm sorry. Maybe I can zoom in here. So we have a 2009 release, so that's late 2009, and we have the Marvel Knights logo. So that's really rare because you don't have any videotapes with Marvel Knights. You may have DVDs, of course, and so on, Blu-rays, but when will you see a VHS with the Marvel Knights logo? So that's really, for me, that's really collectible. And it's a very late release, and it's also under Sony. Sorry, you cannot see it well. Let me focus again. It's a Sony release. So for any Marvel Comics collectors, I mean, this is a must grab right there. Okay, that's something else I had in stock before. It sold quickly, so I had just picked up another copy because I just saw another copy, but it's, well, do I really need to name it? It's Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, I mean, it never came out in North America. Apparently it came out in Australia, maybe in England and a few other countries. But what's good about the South Korean copy, of course, it's in NTSC. So you can play it on your regular VCRs back in North America, just like all the Korean tapes, by the way, of course. But for this film alone is it's really worth it. Also, I think it came out in Japan. So yeah, there's just a few releases that are in NTSC and in English. So this is not dubbed, this is in English. All right, well, maybe show you the back. with the wonderful scene where it's like, no, all right. And there you have the battle, Star Battle, Yoda. It's a nice looking thing. The rest I'm gonna go quickly because it's stuff I showed you before, just new things that are back in stock. Here we have Happening, which is a Night Shyamalan film that was, I think, 2008, 2009. Yeah, it is 2000. It's late 2008. It's actually November 2008. Not really good film, although it's a late release, so it's really worth grabbing, of course. Next, this is a 2010 release. I had two of those. I mean, I had one, and then I picked up another one that I found. Luckily enough, because the one I had just before this one sold very quickly. So I picked this is my last one. It's Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief. I think they're gonna come up with a second film, so that's really cool to have. I mean, if you're looking to check the second film, well, you can grab the first movie on tape. Okay, next we have Transporter 3. So 1, 2, 3 came out in South Korea. This is the last one that came out in South Korea. This is a gorgeous copy. By that I mean it's sparkling clean. It's a 2009 release, early 2009. So that's also quite late. No sun fade. Tape is gorgeous. Yeah, it's up for sale. Okay, two more, and we're done with this box. Alien vs. Predator 2, or Alien vs. Predator Requiem. It was horrible, I think, except maybe the beginning, because you have a kid that dies, and it's a bit non-Hollywood to do that. Other than that, the rest of the film was so dark, I can't remember anything about it. Just maybe there was a school, and they were in a building, and stuff happened, and yeah, that's it. But the cover of this one is nice. The tape is so nice to have. It's so cool. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to say about this. If you're an Alien or Predator fan and you're looking to have all their movies on tape, I mean, you need to go with the South Korean VHS, because there's no other VHS tape of this that I know of. Also, the corner has been there's a little chip on the corner. I may need to change the clamshell because of that, but other than that, I mean, the sleeve is clean, the tape is also very clean, so yeah, no problem here. And if you're wondering, this is a middle of 2008 release. Okay, here is, I think, the last South Korean film I have for you today. This one is called The Itaewon Murders. I think there was another title to it, but that was the only title I remember. That was the South Korean title was The Itaewon Murder, which is about the Itaewon murder. Yeah, there's some guy who got stabbed in the bathroom of a Burger King in Itaewon. By the way, if you don't know Itaewon, it's a place in South Korea. It's pretty much like it's a district in Seoul that has a lot of foreigners. It's the place you go if you want to eat a kebab and stuff like that, and there are a bunch of clubs. It's like a bit of a clubbing area, but the main thing is it has a lot of foreigners. So yeah, anyway, there's a murder that happened in there. They made a movie to try to solve the mystery about who killed who. I mean, who was the killer? A bit like Memories of Murder, so it kind of trends about the same idea. It was quite popular when it came out, and this here we're talking about a November 2009 release, so that's also very late in the VHS cycle. So now that I got my tapes, let's check it out. So first we have Transformers, that is now back in stock. It's been a while. I mean, I had it only once, Transformer 1, Transformers 2. Both of them got sold quite quickly. I mean, they were special requests, so now I picked up the last copy that I knew was somewhere in a shop. I picked it up. I hope I can find part 2 again, although part 1 and part 2 are getting a bit hard to find. Anything else to say about Transformers? Really? No, I think there's nothing other than the cool foil cover, the writing, that's really nice. It's a cool release, and it was 2007. Okay, another late release right here, Sherlock Holmes, by Guy Ritchie, a director of Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, and other movies with one with Brad Pitt that speaks Scottish or something. Okay, so anyway, this is 2010, so that's really near the end. We had this in South Korea. It was released here, although as you can see, there's like quite some sun fade, which I'm really not a fan of, as you know, but I picked it up because this is a 2010 tape release, and the 2010 tapes are getting quite hard to find because they have a lower print, I believe, so I jumped on it no matter what, because I don't know when it's going to be the next time I can find this, so yeah. Okay, here's another one, another Marvel Comics, because there's so much in demand, right? So we have Silver Surfer, so that's Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer with the actor in Street Kings. Yeah, I have this one up for sale. Someone put it aside. I think it's gonna go back for sale, so that would be my second copy. It's in top shape, no sun fade whatsoever. Super clean, so yeah, I mean, if you're into the Marvel comic stuff, again, this is a must, I would say. And this is 2008, by the way, so yeah, this is quite old, recent, so you should get it. First one I think was before 2006, so there's nothing too special about it, but this is 2008. Here's a great film, Pan's Labyrinth, by Guillermo del Toro, who made the Academy Award winning movie, which I didn't really like. I forgot what it was, but it was like kind of like Splash, but I mean with the fish guy. I'm forgetful. Anyway, I didn't really like it, but yeah, this one is Pan's Labyrinth, a bit more dark film, same kind of visual, very poetic at the same time. Worth a watch, and this tape is 2007, but the film was 2006, but that was a very early 2007 release. As you can see, really cool imagery. So yeah, if you're looking for something different in your collection, in your video collection and Korean tapes collection, I suggest you grab this one up, because it's in top shape as well. Here. Okay. Next. Well, here we're leaving the Marvel Comics alone, and we're diving into the gaming movies with DOA, Dead or Alive, which is an adaptation of the popular video game with the boob physics. And this one is, I watched it, it was terrible, but it was kind of just okay to watch, just for the kicks of it. Yeah, this film is a 2007 release. That's the only reason I picked it up, and because it's a movie which is an adaptation of a game, and yeah, it may interest some people out there. Okay, next we have something so cool, by the way. Maybe most of you will not know what this is, especially the young guys out there watching my videos. But here we have Zombie Wars, and maybe you're like, okay, who cares? Or what is this straight-to-video garbage? I mean, it is a bit straight-to-video garbage, I have to admit. So this was made by director David A. Pryor, who actually made like some really famous films, I mean cult films back in the 80s and also early to mid 90s. Well, he made some movies up to 2010 and he passed away a few years ago, but his most famous films were mostly like late 80s, such as Killer Workout, Deadly Prey, Men Killer, and this is another of his films. And this came out, I think, 2007, if I'm not confused. I think it was like a 2007, late 2007. We're talking about December 2007, so almost 2008, one of his last efforts. So yeah, this is quite hard to find. I think even in other countries, this film didn't come out. Maybe it had like a very, very small distribution. I know it exists in South Korea on DVD, that for sure I know, I remember, and it's the same artwork, same cover, although the tape is so cool to have. And this one is totally unfaded, great tape. It had some mold, I had to clean it, but I saved this one. I'm really happy. And it has like a picture of Dawn of the Dead, the remake, right here, and the rest, I don't know, this is like Egyptian thing. I'm thinking maybe the Mummy. It has nothing to do with the film. Anyway, if you're asking my opinion though, is this film any good? I have no idea, but if you're a fan of David A. Pryor, you must own this. Next, we're back with the superheroes, yay! So here we have Spider-Man 3, which for some reason is in some good demand these days. This is almost like, it's not perfectly near mint, by that I mean like no sun fade. It has a tiny bit of sun fade on the spine, but it's in top shape nonetheless. So yes, Spider-Man 3 never came out in North America, only 1 and 2, which makes this one more desirable. It's on 2 tapes, so it's another thing that, you know, it's hard to find, because sometimes you find one tape, you don't find the other one, and it's super clean. So there you have it, Spider-Man 3, and again the same covers, the same back cover, same thing for both, like most of the South Korean double tapes. Speaking of double tapes, the last remaining ones will all be double tapes. So we have The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, which I've never seen. I think apparently it's a very good film. I mean, you have top actors in there, so why not? I should watch it someday. I think I just got turned off because it looked like very long, but I mean, yeah. So Curious Case of Benjamin Button, 2 tapes, although as you can see there's some sun fade on the spine. You see like the yellow orange here, it doesn't match. The blue is fine. The orange is always the color that goes away very quickly or more easily. But this is hard to find now, so yeah, that's why I picked it up. Tapes are in top shape. Once again, no problem here. And this is 2009, so I think it's like July 2009, so late release. Okay, next, another 2-parter, and this will be our last tape for today. So we have Australia by Baz Luhrmann. I hope I pronounce it properly, but the same director who made Elvis, the latest Elvis biopic that came out recently, that was like a huge hit. I watched that film, by the way, which is extremely long but really great. I've never seen Australia. Maybe now I should dive into Australia, because this director makes actually really quite good films. Very eye candy, beautiful visual. Again, same cover. This is so lame, but yeah, it is what it is. See, part 1, part 2 has a bit of sun fade. Once again, the blue is intact, but once again, the orange is always the color that goes away the most easily. Like orange, yellow, red, pink, all those colors, they always like fade quickly. But this is hard to find, yeah. And I think it's 2009 as well. Yeah, it's 2009. It's May 2009. So there you have it. And the tapes are just beautiful in this. See, so yes, so that's everything I have for today, guys. I'm not gonna do like I do usually, like, you know, stretch all the tapes here, because there's way too many. I think I showed you like 40 tapes today. Just one thing though, with all these videotapes, the thing is, a few of them are already aside for some people. So if you're asking me, oh, do you have this, do you have that, some might be already sold. But I mean, don't be shy. Just drop me an email, a message down below. Tell me if there's anything you need, or if you need to know the prices. I always post the stuff on Facebook as well, so if you want to quick check the prices, it's all there. Although many of those I didn't post, like this one. And I think this one is already sold, but or maybe not. But I will post the prices for those maybe next week. So yeah, anyway, if you like the video, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. It's been like more than 4 years I've been doing this channel. I mean, not that I'm chasing subscribers that much. I mean, I don't care that much, but it's so cool to be so close to 1,000. I mean, I think by now I'm at 995, so I mean like just 5 more. So anyway, that said, guys, thank you for watching. This has been a very long video. Soon after this one, I will come up with a video with older tapes. So if you're into like those old slashers, cult films, 80s, that's what's coming up next. All right, thank you. Have a great week.